Who says time travel isn't possible? That you can't go back 400 years in a single afternoon to a place where free spirits still run free, where things made by hand make memories, where a getaway feels like you're getting a world away. There are so many things that make this city different, and so much more waiting to be uncovered. The moment you step foot in Santa Fe, it beckons you to step out of the ordinary. A city that encourages risk-taking, a palette of perspectives, and cherishes the power of originality. Discover art that breathes, landscapes that come alive, and stories that resonate deep within your soul. It's just one of the things that makes the city different, but there's still so much more waiting to be uncovered.
And welcome back to the Santa Fe Gloom podcast live stream. We've got Dipo in the house. I think he just stepped out for a quick second. And Dipo, you'll be jumping on here in a little bit. But everyone, welcome. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Age-friendly senior care. We've got Mercedes-Benz of Santa Fe, Sam's Club, La Fonda Foundation, Del Norte, Capital Ford, St. Vincent's, Santa Fe Economic Development, and Pantry Dose. Dipo, what's up?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. Dude, thank you so much for jumping on. I know we're like going back and forth, trying to schedule, trying to get in.
I know. Thank you for putting up with my craziness, man, my lifestyle, but it's an honor just kind of like, be here with you guys and whatever I can do to share and help and, of course, grow together,
No, for sure. I mean, it was so hard for me to get here like at 7 o'clock, And
yeah.
Same with you. I don't even know where to start. Like, you do so many things in the Albuquerque community, entrepreneurship, restaurants, real estate. So I think the best thing to always do is kind of start in the very beginning of, what made you want to get into entrepreneurship, what brought you to Albuquerque. Start there for our listeners and our fans. And then we'll dive into business, man, and we'll just have a good dialogue. And we'll go for about 30, 40 minutes, and we'll just go back and forth.
That works, man. So, Albuquerque, New Mexico is always interesting story, of course. I was running this company called Potero Corner, which is what I'm still doing right now here at, Albuquerque, Cottonwood Mall, Coronado Mall. We end up opening a couple more locations this couple of years. So I was one of the first person actually in the company that joined with the CEO when they brought the brand from Philippines to United States, which was in Los Angeles. So I was there growing one store into 7 stores. It was struggling brand, it was struggling location, but I kind of like able to prove it, to grow it. And then they actually sent me to New Mexico, to Albuquerque. I was in Lubbock, Texas for a little bit, and then they drove me here. And here I am at Cottonwood Mall. That's why I'm kind of like rushing to get here, because I was like, you know what? This is where it all started. Every time I can share about my journey and everything, it's just like always a humble beginning in my entrepreneurship to be where I was, where I'm still is. And of course, I'll be here for more years to come in God's will and whatever he has, So yeah, from here, and Potero Corner brought me here. I saw the opportunity. I quit the company itself in Los Angeles and moved down here to Albuquerque, New Mexico. I was 21 years old. And people, just pretty like, they didn't understand why would I do that. Even the CEO themselves, like, hey man, you're literally like the 4th person in the company with 3 of us as this co-founder. What are you doing? Why you're quitting the company to be with a franchisor, which only on one location? But during that time, the reason is I think it's time for me to challenge myself that I don't want to be a company person. I don't want to take a paycheck. I want to be an entrepreneur. So I want to kind of like push myself in a way like, okay, you're right. They're struggling. You're right. They're not making money, but I saw the opportunities, I saw the potential, and I just take the leap of faith, man.
Yeah.
I still remember it was like yesterday, December 7, 2011, man. I just drove my car, got the dog, my best friend, put all my stuff in the car, moved to Albuquerque, and that's where all started with my entrepreneurship in New Mexico in Albuquerque with Potero Corner.
Yeah, that's honorable. When people come to you and they say, we want to, or I want to start a business, either that is buying a franchise or starting a company from scratch, what are some guidelines that you tell people?
So, I mean, I always see like the character part for me is the real guidelines that I can see if they're actually able to do it or not. No offense. A lot
Yeah.
of people they put excitement over commitment instead of the other way around. Again, same thing with what you guys do with Gloom, right? With soccer, with futsal. A lot of people after the World Cup, everybody want to play soccer, right? But after that, what's gonna be next?
Mhm.
Everybody want to play pro until they keep practicing. They can even make it for the team. They sit on the bench, and then their dream just like disappear. Because I always tell people, if you put profit over purpose, if you put excitement over commitment, that's just not gonna happen. So that's the first guideline that I tell people like, okay, are you willing to go all in? Are you just gonna do it as a hobby? Or are you actually gonna do it as a lifestyle? Because for me, like entrepreneurship is more like a lifestyle. It's not a job. You cannot expect putting work and getting money. You see the opportunity, there's no rewards behind it. You see opportunity, you gotta put the responsibility. Then in time, God's willing, the reward will come, right? Because that's what everybody going after, but there's no guarantee of it. It's not a job. It's a lifestyle. It's a risk. It's a commitment, and that's what I was telling people. The first guidelines, man. The rest of it, I know people always talk about paperwork, structure, LLC, business permit. For me, all of that is just like piece of cake, man, because it's just paperwork, right? But it doesn't mean nothing without your commitment to actually pulling through when things doesn't go according to the plan, pretty much.
Yeah. So okay, so let's say you can pass that hurdle. Okay, so you've got that understanding, but then it also takes some type of like business skill or know-how, I assume. Okay, and that's why
Of
I'm asking
course.
to run a business. So, for example, if I really was committed, dedicated to running a, let's just call it a pizza place.
Yep.
Okay. Um, then what would you tell me? Because then you're like, okay, Dave, you've got it in you. Okay.
Yes.
You've got the LLC structure that's organized. And then what's the next step after that? Because in my experiences, I've seen a lot of people still fail, even when they're getting to that business where it's like maybe it's not the market, maybe just the skill set of that entrepreneur is not really that correct. Because at the end of the day, I think as we know, you probably know more than I on the statistic. I feel it's like a 50% fail rate on startup companies, if not more, and then it increases to like 90% before like 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can get like a lot of people can get to that line where they start the business, but then give it 3 to 5 years, it typically fails.
Yes. So I mean, of course, now it's going back like you're saying for the statistic being technical and everything in a way. You have to know your number, right? Because before any business that you choose, again, it's not a hobby.
Yeah.
It's called business because you have to make money, because you have to make a living to be able to pay your bills. You have to be profitable. So you have to know your number. I always say like, people lie, number doesn't lie. A lot of time, the startup business they assume all this assumption based on what they're feeling, what they're thought, instead of what's the number all about. Because like, okay, what's your profit margin? What's your food cost? What's your labor cost? And most of the time, they don't even know any of that. So like you're saying, okay, I want to open a pizza. Okay, to open a pizza, how much you gonna sell for a slice? How much you gonna sell for the large part, like pizza or small pizza or medium pizza? So where do you come up with that number? What is the cost of goods? What's the labor cost to make those pizza? How much is the rent payment? So all the utilities. Of course, the number part is really important. There's also, like one of the things that I always tell people, okay, let's run a number. But the three things, Dave, that I always tell people in order for you to be having successful business, I always call it the 3P, right? So it's the people, the product itself, and the process. So the people, of course, if you gonna be the one that doing the show, you do one man show, for a certain amount of time is easy. But if you cannot duplicate and multiply yourself, that's when you're gonna stay small instead of actually grow as a brand, as a business, right? Second of all is the products we talk about. Like, what is your product? I mean, everybody like right now, everybody want to meet up with me. Hey, Dipo, I want to do coffee shop. I was like, okay. My first question is, what separates you from Starbucks? How can you actually be better than Starbucks? How can you actually be better than all these local brand and yet they actually big brand? And then the last one is the process or the concept. Because if the concept itself that you do, you just copycat other people, and then you just like, oh yeah, I copycat, but don't worry about it. I'm the people, I'm the product, but I just copycat other people. I was like, yeah, I mean, don't take me wrong. It might hit, but the other two has to be really strong. You gotta be having a really great people, and you have to be able to have a great products or the product that is better than whoever that you just copycat. It's
Yeah.
fine for me. Like, duplication is no problem. Sometimes you don't have to find, you know, a new wheels for you to be successful, but you better have a better way of serving it or a better way of just of quality in terms of products, of course.
And tell our viewers and our Santa Fe Gloom fans some of like your, I don't want to call it failures, but just your hard knocks lessons in business.
Oh man, I have a lot of them, man. I have a lot of them. I know a lot of people always say like, "Hey, dude, everything you touch turning into gold." I was like, "That's what you see when it's going big." I
Yeah.
have so much like, bruh. I'm not even joking, man. Even let's say Potero Corner, right? I got the place that a lot of people know, like Coronado Cottonwood. We're killing it,
Hmm.
but then we also opened one in Uptown Mall. Man, 5 years over there, I probably like losing money every single month.
Yeah.
And then we just opened one right here in Las Estancias, South Valley. We're doing okay, breaking even, but it's nothing just blow up because people always think like it's blowing up, right? And then, I mean, dude, I still have another brand called Cheddar Pain. Sergio Rivas was helping me out. He was being part of it. You can
Yeah.
ask him himself, like, we probably washing more dishes than actually we're making more money. We
Hmm.
5 years, 6 years. I haven't even make any money over there. I've been working for free. I've been
Hmm.
losing money, and yet I'm still going. The reason I say that is, everything that I learn, everything that I do, it set me up for the new season. And when the new season coming, I'm always ready. Like right now, this is a new brand that we do called Shioku House. Man, it's been about like this Sunday will be a week,
Whoa.
bro. We're like
You're still in business.
crazy. We're like crazy. I'm
Yeah.
talking about crazy. I haven't seen any of my business as busy as this. It's been a week. Thank God, which is praise God. But you gotta understand, before that, before this business born, I still have we opened La Vida Conchas, 3 months. I let it run. I have the people that handle it. I just got a text yesterday. Hey man, we just pay all the payroll. We have no more funding in this company.
Yep.
They just text me. So I have one company that making so much money. I have another company that can even pay the payroll. So just all those things that people don't understand, because I'm willing to lose. I'm just not willing to give up, man. That's just how I am. And so every time I got knocked out, I don't stop, because for me it's just part of the process.
Yeah.
But I just love every single moment of it, man. I just love it.
Yeah. And risk. Tell our viewers and fans about risk, your appetite for risk, because it seems like you've got at least three or four organizations going, businesses going, especially in like the restaurant business and hospitality and food. One bad snack, one bad meal. It's like, am I really going to go back there, or poor quality
Yeah.
service? And especially in New Mexico, Santa Fe, Albuquerque, we have a decent amount of good restaurants.
Yeah.
And then you tack on inflation of food costs, as you probably know, and labor costs. So tell just our fans just how you kind of negotiate all the risk and scaling the businesses.
So again, now it's going back to the number, right? Because when
Yep.
we see the risk, I always do also the number in terms of like, okay, you know what? In terms of this business, how much am I gonna spend? Right? Okay, what's the initial cost? What is the investment can be? What is the um like the rewards behind it? Can this business 10x? Can this business when it's set up 5x? How much the cash flow gonna be? So I have the risk calculation, but I'm also gonna tell you, man, there's time that I just move in the obedience of God. I
Yeah.
just move in the obedience of faith that God just called me to do.
Hmm.
I just see the vision, man. I see the vision. Paleta bar, for instance, man, like everybody know La Michoacana. When I created the concept with my business partners during that time with our co-founders, even themselves, they told me like they've been doing La Michoacana for a long time. The first 6 months, we couldn't even like we couldn't even pay ourselves. We barely can pay rent. We're probably like 1 or 2 months away from not being able to open the store.
Hmm.
And but I was like, no, we stay with what we're doing. We just gotta keep showing up, and it blew up during winter time, right? And it was just same thing with Potato Corner, man. It took me like 3 years before the business itself becomes sufficient and make money. And after that, 15 years later, it's still my bread and butter. So I think the risk part, I move mostly in obedience and faith. Whenever God tell me to do it, I just step in, man. There's time that it doesn't make money, but at times that it makes money. But with the way I'm looking at it, the obedient following God's will for me to open the business or doing whatever I do is not based on the rewards. It's just based on me willing to put the obedient and responsibility together. So the risk part, I calculate the number, but I would say like 60% of the business that I do, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't even calculate the risk. I
Yeah.
just step in faith and doing it. The rest that I calculate after I step in, I'm either way I'm gonna do it. Then I calculate the number. So I move the other way more than anything in terms of food business. In real estate, it's the other way around. I
Oh,
base it mostly on numbers, 100% on numbers,
so
right? Even though I know that is obedient God, like Nuevo Atrisco, I took you over there. You see the project.
mhm.
That's a leap of faith. But of course, that leap of faith has to base on the number before I took the project, because I have to calculate. Okay, how many trucks coming in here? This, how many that how much I can rent it out. So I gotta go talk to the master developer. This is what we're gonna do. This is what we can do. And if you guys agree with this, then I'll take the project on. If you guys not agree with this, I'm not taking no project because I don't need this.
Hmm.
But if you take this project in the back end, now I also have the real estate part that I'm able to gain. So it's more than just business, it's actually the equity and real estate part that I can gain in terms of equity more than just cash on cash or like cash flow.
Yeah. And in the future, let's say fast forward 10, 15 years from now, what type of business do you think will be taking off? I know, like, obviously, like, AI is pretty big.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Explain.
Yeah, AI, I mean, AI is the future, man. But even me, like, dude, I'm not a tech guy, bro. I have no idea about AI. I never used Chat GPT. I Google here and there, but dude, honestly, I'm more into like a people person. I believe in seeking knowledge and yet wisdom and understanding with God's words. I just believe in revelation more than information, because a lot of people are seeking information, but I always believe in revelation that leads me to transformation. So food business, bro. I mean, I'm gonna stay in my lane, food business and real estate, because those two is. I mean, real estate. Even right now, a lot of people say that AI mostly gonna be able to change it. Set up terms and everything. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've experienced it. But for me, the relationship, the human relationship, is always gonna be the main resources for all of us to grow together in the future. So food business. I mean, I see the places that having robot cooking, 100%. I've seen that. But at the same time, robot not gonna take the risk, man. Robot not gonna, if someone calling, it's just gonna show up. Robot not gonna run the number with profit and loss. So I think the future itself, doing what I do, I don't honestly, man. I don't even think people want to do it. I don't even think robot gonna do it. I don't even think that AI can even take over food business because we all need to eat. So that future itself, if people actually willing to put the work and show up, I think food business and real estate is two things that I still believe is still gonna be years to come for us to keep growing. It doesn't matter about whatever else coming.
Yeah, I agree. I also think that people are yearning for um, being part of something and being part of a community. I know like live events have really picked up since like COVID and since AI has been discovered. There are more younger people, and Steve Jantz, who was on our show a couple of episodes ago, he mentioned just how people are now going towards community events and like real life experiences. So I
Yeah,
think one thing that the Gloom, and live events definitely will have in common is people are going to just want to be together in one place with food, with culture, with tradition, and just being that human element. Would you agree to something to that
yes,
extent? Yeah.
definitely,
So
man, definitely.
I mean, I think that's where we're headed towards. Is I think just more human connection, even as AI does grow and it may help some business models. Um, I just think we're all kind of headed in the same direction. So
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
thanks, man. What else? What are we missing? Good job. Thank you so much.
Uh,
You got to come out to a Gloom game if you haven't already.
I know, dude. I mean, Sergio been asking me. I mean, I
Yeah.
know most of the players too. I would love to, man. I would love to. I think I gotta make a trip. We have Paleta Bar there that we can
Mhm.
even bring over during you guys' season. I'll make a plan, man. Take family over. Just we can stay the night at Santa Fe. I mean, it's beautiful, man. A great friend of mine also have Airbnb over there. We were
Yeah.
talking about it. I think we just gotta execute it and count me in, man. Like they're like, I'm gonna kind of like keep checking on you guys for you guys, fun game, especially against Elite or that
Yeah.
that team from Braza, whatever it is. I
Yeah.
always see you guys playing. It's
Yeah.
always fun to just watch it, bro. It's like, you know what? I really think that I gotta be there, man. So you let me know. I would love to, and whatever else I can help in the process too. With you guys, you already know, like you're doing something great over there, man, in Santa Fe, locally, man, building up the community in action. There's the thing that I
Yeah.
think I want to kind of like touch base over here because a lot of people talking about community, building community, growing community. I was like, in what ways? In the words, in social media, it doesn't matter, man. Like,
Yeah.
but what you guys do in action, on it, man.
Agreed. I'm going to interrupt also too. One of my pet peeves is community. Okay, got it. But what type of community? What do you mean? Like, who is the community?
Yeah,
I think that's really important too.
yep,
You know,
yep, yep.
because
No, I mean
people
you touch
kind
best
of
a
like
good
people
way.
who
Yeah,
have the same value, but people can they can sugarcoat it and say, well, we're doing it for the community. But sometimes I'll raise my hand and say, well, who exactly is that community that is benefiting? Because it
yeah,
sounds good, but then if you kind of peel it back, you're like, oh, okay, we understand.
yeah.
So
No, I understand, man. You're being really good. Bring it up, and then I know you kind of like careful in a way to say it too. But I'm, like me, I always tell people straight up, like all my business. You went to Nuevo Atrisco, man. I always go after family, um, friendly,
yeah,
family orientation because the reason is the kids is our future, and that's the reason why you do Gloom too. I
and
see what you guys do with Gloom, encouraging all these young kids, coaching clinic and everything. And
mhm,
like you're saying, what kind of community are we trying to create the value for? Because
yeah,
I'm not gonna try to create the community of wrong community that we're trying to encourage or try to bring example to our next generation. I'm not
yeah,
doing that, man. I mean, they wanna like cancel me, they wanna get mad. That's on them because at the end of the day, I focus on what I believe based
mhm,
on the word of God. I focus on the absolute truth that I'm gonna build the right community. I'm gonna build, you know, everything in action towards the better life, right? Because
Yep.
we don't want to be having, the wrong type of community like you mentioned. So I love it when you brought that up, man.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I think kids are such a valuable aspect to all of this as
Yes.
well. I think that's one thing that, we're looking to do with the Gloom that we've been brainstorming for a long time with Sergio and Coach Pat, is how do we get a Gloom youth team on board? People ask about it. A Gloom women's team, people ask about it. So if we can start to expand those community values in those user groups, there's no telling what we can do.
Yeah.
Another project that we're working on with Dr. Sanchez is going out to schools and talking to them about 8 dimensions of wellness, financial literacy, all of those things that I think good community organizers like Gloom should do to go out into the schools. And these are, we're targeting, the lower income schools because we feel like they may not get these messages every single day, unfortunately.
Yeah.
If they do, we're going to double down and remind them of these messages. So I think that's really important that, as we go down this road, because we've learned from so many of other people that the Gloom, yourself, your business savviness is teaching the younger generation. So
Yeah. Yeah. No,
that's
100%, man. It's like you're saying with that message, we can educate them, we can give them like that information, man. At the same time, also to bring hope, like you were saying with the low income school, especially just show them that the future ahead of them is bright, that they're able to be their best, they're able to just get out of Santa Fe and probably like
Yep.
bringing make all of us proud in any ways. And that's what I see with Sergio, right? I mean,
Yeah.
he's been out there since young kid, like, all the way from Cibola all the way to
Mhm.
MLS draft, become the local heroes. And, you guys have him as the big representative over there for Gloom. And I mean, all the kids looking up to him. Now he's also actually getting even deeper in his faith, in
Yep.
his belief. And I was like, you building yourself up into the full model of what the kid's supposed to look like or to be. So I think it's a great, man. You guys have amazing program. You guys have amazing people in the program, in the organization. I'm excited for what you guys have in store, man. And again, I know, hoping one day I can really like get in touch, get more involved in everything any ways I can. Count me in, man. I would love to.
Absolutely. And you have a big love for soccer, right? And futsal. Because I think that's where I first met you was playing futsal with I guess it was Sergio's team, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, man, I love it, man. I mean, that's the reason I came to States. I got the opportunity to play pro back in Indonesia,
Yeah, see?
play here for a couple of years, man. It's a blessing.
Yeah. No, I love it. I mean, that's what brings us together. All of
Yeah,
all of it is just the love for soccer, for futsal, for all of it. So I mean, if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't necessarily be here. We'd be in a different form, I guess, but
yeah,
not such a good form of Gloom and what you do in the community and all the entrepreneurship. So because it all comes together at the end of the day.
definitely.
Because with all the dedication it takes, what Sergio's done, and even his brothers, it translates to business, because it's exactly the same thing. I mean, it's all the pro players like Sergio, the New Mexico United guys, and they're on a hot streak, as you probably know
Yeah,
right now. But it took blood, sweat, and tears of things that people didn't see in the off season, preseason, and all the games, and then they started out slow, but they persevered. And then all of those young men who were playing for the New Mexico United, they're going to step into the business world, and they're going to do really well because they have all the good skills.
yeah.
So it all translates with athletics, with business, entrepreneurship. It's all a great thing.
Oh,
And if we can bring that
100%, man.
to younger kiddos, I think they're going to have a leg up.
Yeah, yeah. I think the process of that character build up is the one that we cannot miss, that we cannot skip that. And most players or most people in business, in soccer, in sports, sometimes they're trying to look for that cheat code of how to get up there faster, sooner,
Yeah.
the easiest way, getting there instantly. But then I forgot. I sometimes I tell them like, okay, but you forget the big thing is you're skipping where the righteous suffering has to be made, because a
Yeah.
lot of people always scared of struggle and suffering. But I was like, but you gotta understand, there's the righteousness of being struggle. There's a righteousness in suffering. Why? Because that's where your character being built out. That's where you're being strengthened. But of course, there's different type of suffering if you base it on your stupid consequences, or like the
Mhm.
mistake that you got to deal with. That's different type of struggling or suffering, right? But I'm talking about righteous suffering, struggle. You have to go through that in everything you do, man. Like you have to go through it. And the sad thing is, a lot of people, a lot of kids, they're trying to not go through that, and yet they wonder, okay, I have the skill, I'm this good, I'm this talented. I've seen, even like in my business life, I've seen, eye to eye, where all these guys actually, man, they're more talented than me, they're more skillful than me, and yet they don't have character, they don't have the commitment, they don't have just a simplicity of not giving up, pulling through, willing to hurt yourself in the process. They're not. They're not willing to do that. They just walk away. They just fall under the pressure. And I was like, okay, so now I know. Now I know where I'm at and where you at. Because the reason is, I have the character and you don't. I'm not saying about the skill. I'm not saying about the talent. I'm just saying, like, I do have the character and you don't. And that's the reason why I'm ahead of you, or God let me, with his favor, keep rising up, and yet you're getting stuck. So it's nobody else's fault other than you chose not to be willing to go through the process to build your own characters.
Yeah, I agree. And the perfect example of that is it's Friday night, right? It's 7:30, and you and I barely made the cutoff for a 7 o'clock podcast. And I woke up around 6:37. I had my first client at 8:15, and I'm off and rolling. I barely had lunch, but you just go all the way through. And then tomorrow is going to be the same thing. I mean, it's
Yeah,
easy. 10-hour day, easy peasy on a Saturday. No questions asked. This is the way it goes.
yeah,
And
yeah, and
it builds dedication, because I guarantee you, we're going to jump off this call and I'm going to be like, all right, what's the schedule look like for tomorrow? What's next week? And you're going to do the same damn thing.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean, also,
And it
dude,
may
like,
work out or it may not.
yeah,
Who knows?
100%.
We don't know yet. And we're going to know kind of maybe 6 months to a year from now if the decisions we're making right now were actually correct. And it's
100%.
just kind of a gamble, and we go with our gut instinct, with our business sense, with our experiences, with our wins and losses, and you just go from there. But you're grinding it out the whole time. It's the way it
Yep.
goes.
And,
That's
the moment that you actually have a choice and you're willing to keep doing it, even though you have a choice that you don't have to,
well,
and that's even take you to the next season. That's even take you to the next level.
yeah. It's that, and then it's also you don't want to go back to where you were. That's
Never,
where I'm
man.
at. Yeah, that's where I'm at because I knew how hard the struggle was in the very beginning, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going back to that. So I'm doing whatever I can to just get past all of those hard hurdles. And I think those are actually some really good lessons that when we come back on another podcast, if we can make time for it, is really kind of dive into those hard lessons. Because even with my senior care business, I mean, oh man, it was such a struggle. Such a struggle. Like it took me like 5-6 months to find our first client. I was like, what the hell? Like, and then we can get clients within a couple weeks pretty easy.
Yeah.
Be reaching out to the right people, doing the correct marketing, all of those things, word of mouth, all of those things. But in the beginning, it was brutal. It was terrible. And I was like, there's just no way this is ever going to work.
Yeah, but again, like you said, man,
And stop.
you chose to went through that process, and
Exactly.
things get easier because you actually get better,
You get
not
better.
because it's just happened. You know?
You learn. And you go through those periods of like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
And then it starts to roll. Then it starts to hit. So, all right, Dipo. Thank you so very much with everything that you do, man. And we'll get you VIP at a Gloom game. And thanks for interacting with Sergio too. Sergio's obviously he's the person behind the Gloom. So
Yeah.
to work with Sergio and us three, and we'll just continue to do the right thing for the people of New Mexico.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited, and I'll keep update with you guys. My schedule about to get cleared up, dude, after this new concept. And same thing whenever you come in town too, you know, we can set up something for the Gloom. You have New Mexico, we have
Yeah.
Watrisco, man. We got like all other places, so we can get like a little cool stuff going on with all the players, even all the fans and everything. So I'm excited, man. Bringing Gloom, like just to the local people here as well. I think
Yeah.
it's something cool that we all can do together.
You got it. Dipo, thank you so much for your time. Don't send
My
me
pleasure, brother.
an invoice.
Thank you, man. You take care, my man. God bless, brother.
You too.
Later.
Bye.
Peace out. Bye bye.